Imagine for a moment that you have been operating a device of immense power your entire life, yet you were never given the manual. You have been walking through your days, navigating relationships, career paths, and personal struggles, completely unaware that within you sits a mechanism that is constantly communicating with the fabric of reality itself. We are not talking about metaphor here. We are not speaking in poetic riddles. We are talking about a quantum mechanism that has been documented in scientific literature and measured in laboratories, yet it remains hidden from our daily conversations. Why is this knowledge kept in the shadows? Because accepting the truth of what I am about to share with you requires a complete dismantling of everything you have been told about who you are. It means admitting that your emotions are not problems to be solved. They are not disorders to be medicated away, and they are certainly not wild states that you must control through sheer willpower or years of therapy. Here is the fundamental truth that changes everything. What you label as emotions are not merely internal feelings confined to the chaotic landscape of your mind. They are, in fact, electromagnetic broadcast frequencies. These signals emanate directly from your nervous system, transmitting continuously into the quantum substrate that makes up our physical world. Every single emotional state you experience, whether it is the heavy weight of grief or the electric spark of excitement, is your biological system selecting a specific channel. You are tuning into one of infinite possible realities. The channel you choose to broadcast on directly dictates which version of the physical world crystallizes and materializes around you. Most of us move through life treating our emotions like the weather. We see them as random storms that roll in uninvited internal events that must be endured, suppressed, or hidden until the sun comes out again. But what if you shifted your perspective? What if every emotion was actually precise feedback, a dashboard indicator light telling you exactly which probability channel you are currently locked onto? Consider anxiety. You have been taught that anxiety is a warning system about impending danger, but from a quantum perspective, it is something entirely different. Anxiety is a signal that your system is broadcasting on the threat frequency, and by doing so, you are amplifying dangerous possibilities in your energetic field. On the other end of the spectrum, consider joy. Joy is not just the fleeting feeling of happiness. It is a confirmation signal. It tells you that you are transmitting on the opportunity frequency, effectively collapsing favorable circumstances from the realm of quantum potential into your lived experience. When you begin to understand emotions as broadcast frequencies rather than feelings that require management, your entire existence transforms. You stop fighting the waves and start steering the ship. This shift affects not only how you feel internally, but what actually manifests in your external reality. You stop fighting against this precision tuning instrument and finally learn how to operate it with conscious intent. We are going to journey deep into the mechanics of this frequency system. We will explore how your nervous system functions as a biological transmitter, interfacing directly with the sea of quantum probabilities. You will discover why every strategy you have ever used to fix or improve your emotions has likely created destructive interference patterns, scrambling the signal you send out to the universe. Most importantly, you will learn how to shift from unconscious reactivity to conscious frequency selection, choosing the reality channel that crystallizes around you. Let us begin with the biology of the broadcast. Let us look at what is actually happening inside your vessel when you experience what psychology calls an emotion. Your brain is not merely cooking up a subjective sensation that stays trapped in your skull. It is generating a specific electromagnetic oscillation pattern. This is a measurable frequency wave that radiates outward from your neural tissue, pushing into the space surrounding your physical body. This is not speculation. It has been mapped using magnetocardiography and other technologies sensitive enough to detect the subtle electromagnetic signatures of different emotional states. Let's break down the numbers, because this is where the science meets the spiritual. When your system enters the state we call anxiety, it generates wave oscillations in the bandwidth of 4 to 8 Hz. Visually, these are slow, irregular pulses with erratic spikes in amplitude. Now, shift to anger. When anger arises, your brain produces oscillations in the 13 to 30 Hz range. These are rapid, chaotic fluctuations with high-intensity peaks. Contrast this with joy. Joy generates smooth, coherent waves in the 8 to 12 Hz spectrum, characterized by a consistent, flowing amplitude. And then there is depression, which creates ultra-slow oscillations below 4 Hz. Dampened waves with minimal variation. These are not poetic descriptions. These are literal electromagnetic frequencies that can be isolated, recorded, and analyzed in scientific settings. Your emotional state in any given moment is a precise frequency signature, broadcasting from your nervous system outward into your environment. And here is where the conventional understanding breaks down completely. These fields do not stop at your skin. They do not end at the boundary of your body. Research confirms that the electromagnetic emissions from your heart and brain extend approximately 3 meters beyond your physical form in all directions. Think about that for a second. You are walking around in a bubble of energy that is 6 meters in diameter. You are quite literally a walking broadcasting station, constantly transmitting your emotional signal into the space around you. These transmissions are not passive radiation like heat from a light bulb. They are active. They are interfacing with the quantum field structure that underlies all physical reality. Quantum field theory tells us that the foundational layer of our universe exists in a state called superposition. This is a state where infinite possible configurations occupy the same location simultaneously, waiting for an observer or a cause to actualize one specific configuration into material form. Your emotional frequencies are that causative factor. They function as tuning signals. They cause the quantum substrate to resonate at matching frequencies, amplifying certain probability patterns while suppressing others. When your system broadcasts anxiety at 6 Hz, you are not just feeling nervous about a potential outcome. You are physically interacting with the field. You are causing the probability field surrounding you to resonate with the anxiety bandwidth. You are tuning into the spectrum of possible realities aligned with danger, loss, scarcity, and threat. The quantum field, being a mirror, responds by amplifying probability waves that match your broadcast. This makes anxiety-compatible scenarios statistically more likely to collapse from superposition into your tangible, lived experience. This explains why, when you are in a spiral of fear, things seem to go wrong in chains. It is not bad luck. It is physics. When you broadcast joy at 10 Hz, you are tuning into the opportunity bandwidth. This is the range of quantum possibilities aligned with connection, expansion, abundance, and those magical moments of synchronicity. The field amplifies these matching probabilities, making joy-compatible scenarios more likely to materialize. We must move beyond thinking of this as metaphysical speculation or simple law of attraction jargon. This is electromagnetic resonance between your nervous system's broadcast frequency and the quantum probability field. Your body is the tuning device. The frequency it transmits determines the channel of reality you receive. Now, we must examine the great error. We must look at what happens when you relate to these frequencies the way you have been programmed to by society. We are taught that feelings need to be judged, controlled, managed, or eliminated based on whether they are categorized as positive or negative. Imagine the anxiety frequency arises in your system, broadcasting at 6 Hz. Your conditioning immediately kicks in. You label it as bad. You decide it is something wrong that needs to be stopped. So what do? You attempt to suppress it. You try to push it down, force it away through willpower, or distract yourself with your phone or food. But here is the catch. You are not eliminating the frequency. You are simply generating a second, conflicting frequency, what I call the resistance signal. The anxiety continues transmitting at 6 Hz, but now you are simultaneously broadcasting the suppression frequency, which typically manifests as bodily tension around 15 Hz. These two incompatible frequencies do not cancel each other out. They create a phenomenon known as destructive interference. This is where conflicting wave patterns produce chaotic, unstable signals that corrupt the clarity of your broadcast. Your tuning mechanism begins jumping erratically between channels. Unable to maintain a stable lock on any single frequency, the result is scattered, unpredictable reality manifestation. You experience random circumstances that seem unconnected to any coherent pattern. This explains why people who chronically suppress their emotions often feel like their lives are chaotic. They experience the very things they fear manifesting in seemingly random ways. They are not failing at suppression, they are succeeding at creating broadcast static. They are generating interference patterns that produce unstable channel selection. The anxiety frequency is still transmitting underneath the layer of suppression, but now it is being scrambled by the resistance frequency. This creates chaotic tuning that locks onto the threat channel intermittently and unpredictably, rather than allowing the anxiety frequency to run its natural cycle and shift. The identical mechanism operates with every frequency in your emotional spectrum. If you suppress anger, you do not eliminate it. You generate interference static between the anger frequency and your performed calmness. This manifests as passive-aggressive behavioral patterns, sudden explosive releases, or chronic somatic symptoms as the conflicting frequencies destabilize your broadcast coherence and leak out through your body. If you suppress sadness, it creates interference with your projected happiness or positivity. The result? Emotional numbness, a disconnection from authentic feeling, a flatness that tunes you to the isolation channel rather than allowing the sadness frequency to complete its natural processing function and shift organically to neutral or elevated frequencies. Psychophysiological research has documented this extensively. Emotional suppression correlates directly with elevated physiological stress markers, cardiovascular strain, immune dysregulation, and cognitive performance degradation. But we must look deeper than biology. The mechanism is frequency interference at the quantum level. It creates broadcast instability that manifests as both internal nervous system dysregulation and external reality chaos. The paradigm shift, the moment of awakening, is this: stop relating to frequencies as feelings that require management, evaluation, or control. Start recognizing them as broadcast signals, carrying precise information about which reality channel your system is currently locked onto. Every emotional frequency that arises in your system is providing real-time channel feedback. It is showing you which bandwidth of quantum probability you are currently amplifying in your field. When you learn to read frequencies as data rather than judging them as good or bad subjective experiences, you gain direct conscious awareness of the reality you are actively building. When you feel that tightness of anxiety in the 4 to 8 Hz range, it indicates your system has locked onto the threat channel. You are not experiencing anxiety because danger is objectively present in your room right now. You are broadcasting on a frequency that tunes your local probability field to amplify threat-matching scenarios, possibilities aligned with danger, scarcity, loss, and harm. The anxiety itself is not predicting the future, it is creating it. It is showing you in real time that your current electromagnetic broadcast resonates with danger probabilities in the quantum substrate around you. This reframes how you work with anxiety completely. Instead of trying to eliminate it because it feels unpleasant, or being controlled by it because it feels urgent, you recognize it as precise channel feedback. Your tuning mechanism is communicating with you. It is saying, you are currently broadcasting on the threat channel. Scenarios matching this frequency are being quantum mechanically amplified in your probability field right this second. This awareness gives you the power. It gives you the opportunity to consciously retune before those amplified threat probabilities collapse from quantum potential into physical manifestation. Consider the joy frequency in the 8 to 12 Hz range. This indicates your system has locked on to the opportunity channel. You are broadcasting on a frequency that resonates with connection, expansion, creative possibility, and favorable circumstances. Joy isn't merely a pleasant, subjective feeling. It is feedback confirming that your current electromagnetic broadcast is actively amplifying beneficial probabilities in your surrounding field. And what of anger? That intense surge in the 13 to 30 Hz range. It indicates tuning to the boundary violation channel. You are broadcasting on a frequency that resonates with scenarios involving your limits being tested, your energy being drained, or your sovereignty being compromised. Anger is not a bad emotion. It is not a problem to solve. It is information. It is your system communicating that your broadcast is currently amplifying situations that require you to reinforce your boundaries, reclaim your energy, or redirect your protection. Even depression, with its low hum below 4 Hz, is a specific signal. It indicates tuning to the stagnation channel. You are broadcasting on such a low, slow frequency that very few probability patterns are being amplified at all. Your quantum field is essentially in minimal manifestation mode, barely selecting any possibilities for actualization. It is not a character flaw. It is feedback that your broadcast frequency has dropped below the threshold required for active reality selection and that your system needs recalibration. When you start to read your own frequencies in this way, as channel indicators revealing which reality bandwidth you are transmitting on, you stop trying to control them or force them to disappear. Instead, you receive the precise data they are providing. You use that information to make conscious adjustments to your broadcast frequency based on which reality channel you actually want to experience. This is the beginning of the great work. It is the move from being a victim of your feelings to becoming the architect of your frequency. But to truly master this, you must understand the life cycle of a wave. Frequencies have a natural rhythm. They arise, they broadcast, and they shift. When you interfere, you break the cycle. When you observe, you complete it. We have established that you are a broadcasting station. You are a biological tower transmitting signals into the quantum field, and those signals dictate the reality that takes shape around you. But understanding what you are broadcasting is only the first step. To truly master this instrument, you must understand the rhythm of the signal itself. You must learn the secret of the life cycle. Here is a fact that transforms everything you think you know about your emotional endurance. Frequencies have a natural lifespan. They are not designed to be permanent residents in your nervous system. They are visitors. They arise, they broadcast for a specific duration, and then, according to their inherent wave pattern, they naturally transition into something else. Neuroscience has tracked this with incredible precision by monitoring the neurochemical cascades associated with emotional states. When left completely uninterrupted, when you do not touch the dial, when you do not fight the signal, an emotional frequency completes its primary broadcast cycle in approximately 90 seconds. That is it, 1.5 minutes. The neurochemical surge that generates the initial frequency peaks within 30 to 60 seconds, flushes through your system, and fully metabolizes, returning your body to a baseline state within 90 seconds of that first spark. So why does it feel like your anxiety lasts for days? Why does grief feel like a lifelong sentence? Why does anger simmer for weeks? Because most of us never experience this natural 90-second cycle. We interrupt it immediately. We unconsciously sabotage the process through two distinct mechanisms: resistance and amplification. Let's look at resistance first. This includes suppression, denial, distraction, and avoidance. It is the act of pushing against the wave. When you resist a frequency, you create interference static. You fragment that clean, singular signal into multiple conflicting transmissions that bounce around your energetic field, broadcasting indefinitely. You trap the energy in your body, refusing to let it leave. Then there is the second trap, amplification. This is where your mind gets involved. This includes rumination, story elaboration, mental replays, and identifying with the emotional state. You feel the flash of anger, and instead of letting it surge and fade, you start writing a script. You tell yourself why you are right, why they are wrong, what you should have said, and what you will say next time. You are feeding additional energy into the frequency. You are artificially extending its broadcast duration far beyond its natural lifespan. You are taking a 90-second commercial break and turning it into a 24-hour marathon. The practice that creates radical transformation is deceptively simple, but profoundly difficult to master. Simply allow the wave to break. When a frequency arises in your system, let it broadcast. Do not suppress it. Do not feed it. Simply recognize that you are temporarily tuned to a specific channel and allow the frequency to complete its natural 90-second cycle uninterrupted. This is not the same as suppression. Suppression requires muscular effort. It is a clenching, a pushing down that generates the resistance signal. Allowing requires the opposite. It requires a deep, conscious relaxation. It is a choice to let the frequency broadcast cleanly through your system without adding conflicting signals through resistance or extending its duration through the amplification of a mental story. When you allow the anxiety frequency to broadcast for 90 seconds without adding resistance or the fuel of catastrophic thinking, something remarkable occurs. The frequency peaks naturally. It delivers its precise channel information, telling you exactly which thread-aligned probabilities are being amplified in your field, and then, like a fever breaking, it organically shifts. What remains after the shift is not lingering anxiety or suppressed tension. It is clarity. You gain direct awareness of which habitual thought patterns or belief structures were tuning you to the threat channel. This gives you the conscious choice to either maintain that broadcast or retune to a different channel. You move from being a victim of the signal to the director of the broadcast. The same applies to anger. When you allow the anger frequency to broadcast naturally without pushing it down or spinning a story about it, it peaks. It shows you exactly where your energetic boundaries are being violated or where your life force is being blocked. And then it shifts organically. It transforms into a neutral baseline, or very often into the frequency of determination. The anger does not control your behavior, and you do not suppress its message. It completes its broadcast cycle, and your system naturally retunes itself. When you allow sadness to broadcast without interference, it processes whatever is ending or releasing from your energetic field. It then shifts to spaciousness, openness, or a neutral frequency that allows entirely new channels to become accessible. Sadness is not a problem. It is a natural frequency transition that facilitates system recalibration, clearing out old patterns to make space for the new. Now, we need to address the variable that determines the power of your broadcast. It is not enough to just transmit. You must transmit clearly. This variable is called coherence. Coherence is the degree of clarity, stability, and consistency in your broadcast signal. Think of a laser beam versus a light bulb. A light bulb scatters energy in all directions. It is incoherent. A laser aligns light waves so perfectly that they can cut through steel. It is coherent. Coherent emotional frequencies are clean, stable transmissions that maintain a consistent wave oscillation without interference, noise, or signal distortion. Incoherent frequencies are unstable, noisy broadcasts contaminated with static and conflicting signals. Here is the key to manifestation. Coherence directly determines the magnitude of your reality tuning effects. When your frequency is coherent, when you are broadcasting a clear, sustained signal without internal conflict or contradiction, that frequency creates powerful resonance with matching quantum probability channels. The result? Specific scenarios aligned with your broadcast frequency collapse from superposition into physical manifestation with high consistency, high speed, and high reliability. This is the mechanism behind why people in states of coherent joy seem to effortlessly attract opportunities. Their joy frequency is broadcasting a clear, stable 10 Hz signal that creates powerful resonance with opportunity channel probabilities. Those probabilities collapse into tangible experience naturally because the signal carrying them is undiluted. This also explains why people in coherent determination states accomplish outcomes that seem impossible to others. Determination generates a coherent frequency in the 16 to 20 Hz range. This resonates powerfully with completion channel probabilities. Those probabilities collapse into material results through sustained coherent broadcast, regardless of external obstacles. However, most people never experience truly coherent frequency broadcasts because they are generating multiple conflicting signals simultaneously. They broadcast desire at one frequency while simultaneously broadcasting doubt at another. They broadcast hope while broadcasting fear. They broadcast confidence while broadcasting unworthiness. Each conflicting frequency creates destructive interference with the others, producing incoherent broadcast patterns. The result is weak, scattered, and inconsistent manifestation effects. You are sending mixed signals to the quantum field, and the field returns a mixed reality. Now, this is where the practice becomes counterintuitive. The way to develop broadcast coherence is not to force yourself to feel only positive frequencies while suppressing the negative ones. Coherence does not come from forcing joy while pushing down fear. It comes from allowing whatever frequency is naturally present in your system to broadcast cleanly. When fear arises and you allow it to broadcast naturally for 90 seconds without adding the resistance of suppression or the amplification of a story, the fear frequency itself is coherent. It is a clean signal. It provides its channel information clearly, completes its cycle cleanly, and your system naturally retunes. Your field is then clear for the next organic frequency to arise coherently, without contamination from suppressed or amplified previous frequencies lingering in your system. This creates what researchers call affective flexibility, the capacity to move fluidly through different emotional frequencies without getting stuck in repetitive loops. At the quantum level, this produces field flexibility, allowing for the rapid reconfiguration of which probability channels are accessible for manifestation at any given moment. But your emotional frequencies do not broadcast in a vacuum. You are not an island. Your signals are constantly interfacing with the electromagnetic broadcasts of every other person in your environment. This interaction creates collective frequency fields, which determine consensus reality, the shared channel of experience that groups of people perceive and participate in together. Have you ever walked into a room where two people just had an argument? Even if they are sitting in silence, you feel it. The air feels thick. The tension is palpable. This is not your imagination. When you enter a space where multiple people are broadcasting coherent fear or anger, a high-stress workplace, an anxious family gathering, a conflict-saturated home, their collective frequency field creates powerful resonance with threat channel probabilities that affects everyone in that space. You detect this immediately, not through conscious thought, but through direct nervous system perception. Your electromagnetic field picks up the collective frequency and begins entraining to it. Entrainment is a well-documented phenomenon in physics, where oscillating systems synchronize their frequencies when brought into proximity. Think of pendulum clocks on a wall that eventually swing in perfect unison. Your emotional frequency naturally begins matching the dominant frequency of the collective fields you enter. This is the actual mechanism behind emotional contagion. It explains why panic or laughter spreads through groups like wildfire. You are not just psychologically empathizing. Your broadcast frequency is literally synchronizing with others through electromagnetic resonance at the quantum field level. This has profound implications for how you navigate your reality. If you enter a fear-saturated environment while broadcasting a coherent, calm frequency, one of two things will happen. Either your frequency will entrain to the collective fear, pulling you into the threat channel along with everyone else, or, and this is where your power lies, your coherent, calm frequency will begin shifting the collective field itself. Which outcome occurs depends on the coherence and amplitude, the signal strength, of your individual frequency relative to the collective. If your calm broadcast is more coherent and sustained than the collective fear around you, you can actually shift the entire field's resonance pattern. You can cause the probability channels accessible to everyone in that space to shift from threat-aligned to calm-aligned scenarios. This is the real mechanism behind what people call holding space or changing the energy in a room. It is not metaphorical, it is frequency mechanics. Your coherent broadcast is creating interference patterns with the incoherent collective field. If your signal is sufficiently coherent and strong, it can retune the dominant frequency pattern of the entire collective field. This explains why certain rare individuals seem to carry a stable reality with them wherever they go. Regardless of how chaotic the external environment becomes, their personal experience remains consistent, peaceful, and aligned. They are broadcasting such a powerfully coherent frequency that their local probability field maintains stable tuning, even when collective fields around them are fragmenting into chaos. The practical application is this: your emotional frequency does not only determine your individual reality channel, it contributes to the collective frequency field that determines shared consensus reality for everyone in your proximity. When you develop the capacity to maintain a coherent broadcast, regardless of environmental pressures, you become a stabilizing anchor point. You literally help shift the probability channels accessible to entire groups. We are now approaching the threshold of action. Understanding the theory is vital, but application is what collapses the wave function. You need a protocol. You need a way to work with these energies that is not based on thinking positive or mental gymnastics, but on direct frequency mechanics. I am going to give you a specific 5-practice protocol. This system is designed to take you from a passive receiver of random signals to a conscious operator of your reality tuning device. This is how you begin to deliberately select which realities collapse from quantum potential into physical manifestation. The first practice is frequency recognition. Throughout your day, you must begin training yourself to notice when frequency shifts occur in your system. This is not about analyzing why you feel a certain way. It is not about the story your mind creates. It is about the raw, somatic sensation of the frequency change itself in your body. You must learn the physical signature of the signal. Anxiety usually manifests as a rapid, shallow oscillation, often centered in your chest or solar plexus. It feels buzzy, tight, and fast. Joy feels different. It feels like smooth, expansive waves moving through your torso, opening you up. Anger feels like intense, chaotic spikes, often localized in your head, jaw, or hands, a sharp, hot pressure. Depression feels like a slow, heavy, dampened oscillation that seems to weigh down your entire body. Train yourself to catch the frequency shift before your mind constructs a narrative around it. The instant you notice the oscillation change, you have caught the frequency at its point of emergence. This is your critical intervention window. This is the moment where you have maximum leverage to work with the frequency consciously rather than being carried unconsciously by it. You are waking up at the wheel. If what we have explored so far is opening something in you, if you are beginning to recognize yourself as a conscious broadcaster rather than a passive feeler, then you are ready to go deeper. The second practice is clean broadcasting. We are now deep within the mechanics of the broadcast. You have recognized the signal. You have felt the shift in your chest, the tightening in your stomach, or the expansion in your heart. You have caught the frequency at the very moment of its emergence. Now, what do you actually do with it? This brings us to the second practice, clean broadcasting. Once you have identified that a frequency has arisen, let's say it is the sharp spike of irritation or the heavy fog of doubt, you must make a radical conscious choice. You must choose to neither suppress it nor amplify it. This is the delicate art of the middle path. Do not generate the resistance frequency by trying to wrestle the feeling to the ground. Do not grit your teeth and pretend it isn't there. But equally, do not feed it. Do not pour gasoline on the fire by building a mental courtroom where you prosecute everyone who has wronged you. Simply allow the frequency to broadcast cleanly through your nervous system without interference. This requires a physical act of surrender. It requires relaxation rather than tension. It demands that you stay anchored in the present moment rather than drifting into the memories of the past or the terrors of the future. Here is a practical tool. Set a mental timer for 90 seconds. That is all you need. Tell yourself, for the next 90 seconds, I will simply feel this oscillation without judgment. Observe the wave as it crashes and rolls through you. You will notice something that feels like magic, but is simply biology and physics working in harmony. Without the resistant static of suppression and without the fuel of a mental story, the frequency completes its cycle with remarkable speed. The oscillation peaks, it delivers its energetic payload, and then it naturally dissolves or transitions into a different frequency state. This leads directly into the third practice, channel data extraction. The wave has peaked. The intensity is beginning to subside. In the space that follows, you must ask yourself one precise, surgical question. Which reality channel is this frequency showing me that I am currently tuned to? Remember, this is not psychological analysis. We are not asking, why do I feel this? Or what does this say about my childhood? We are asking a technical question about your current broadcast status. You are reading the dashboard of your reality machine. If the answer is fear, you know you are tuned to the threat channel. You are currently amplifying probabilities of danger. If the answer is joy, you are tuned to the opportunity channel. You are magnifying connection and expansion. If the answer is anger, you are tuned to the boundary violation channel. If the answer is sadness, you are tuned to the completion or release channel. This shift in perspective is monumental. You stop treating emotions as demons to be exorcised and start treating them as data to be utilized. Each frequency transmits on a specific bandwidth that resonates with specific probability patterns in the quantum field. The frequency is simply a notification. It is showing you which class of probabilities you are currently energizing. It is a neutral messenger delivering a vital report on your current alignment. Once you have the data, you regain your power. This initiates the fourth practice, conscious channel selection. Now that you have extracted the channel information from the frequency, you stand at the fork in the road. You have the sovereignty to choose. Do you want to continue broadcasting on this frequency, or do you want to retune? Let's say the fear frequency has shown you that you are tuned to the threat channel. You can look at that data and say, okay, my current broadcast is quantum mechanically amplifying threat matching scenarios in my probability field. Do I want to keep doing this? If the answer is no, you retune. You do not fight the fear, you pivot. You deliberately shift your broadcast frequency. You can do this through attention redirection, moving your focus to something that generates a different feeling. You can do it through physiological adjustment, changing your breathing pattern, standing up, shaking out your limbs, or changing your posture from closed to open. You can do it through environmental change, stepping outside into the sunlight or moving to a different room. This is not positive thinking or spiritual bypassing. This is conscious frequency selection based on the channel feedback you just received. You are using the information the frequency provided to make an informed, executive decision about which channel to broadcast on moving forward. You are taking the helm of the ship. As you repeat these steps, you enter the territory of the fifth practice, coherence cultivation. This is the long game. As you practice allowing frequencies to broadcast cleanly without interference over days and weeks, you will notice a profound change in the quality of your emotional experience. Your signal becomes pure. Instead of experiencing a muddy mix of multiple conflicting frequencies simultaneously, desire mixed with guilt, excitement mixed with dread, you will begin to experience clear, distinct frequencies. They arise, they broadcast, and they transition smoothly without overlap or contamination. This growing coherence dramatically amplifies your reality tuning power. Remember the laser metaphor? Coherent frequencies create strong, stable resonance with matching quantum probability channels. This causes specific scenarios to collapse from superposition into physical manifestation with increasing consistency. You are no longer sending a static-filled signal that confuses the field. You are sending a clear command. Track this process over weeks and months. You will begin to notice that your external reality starts reflecting your coherent frequencies with increasing accuracy. The mirror becomes clearer. The lag time between your broadcast and the reflection shortens. Once you have established basic competence with these 5 foundational practices: recognition, clean broadcasting, data extraction, selection, and coherence, you are ready to graduate. You are ready to stop just managing the signal and start composing the symphony. You can begin to work with more advanced frequency mechanics to accelerate your reality tuning effects. Let us explore advanced technique 1, frequency layering. Most people, even those who are somewhat conscious, tend to broadcast only one frequency at a time. But you are a complex being, and the reality you want to build is likely nuanced. Instead of a single note, you can consciously layer compatible frequencies to create complex broadcast signatures. These composite signals resonate with more specific, highly detailed probability channels. Consider the combination of joy and determination. Joy vibrates at roughly 10 Hz. Determination sits higher, around 18 Hz. When you layer these two, when you hold the feeling of expansive happiness alongside the feeling of gritty, focused resolve, you create a unique composite signature. This specific blend resonates with channels involving successful creative manifestation and joyful accomplishment. It is the frequency of the happy warrior or the inspired builder. Or take the combination of calm and curiosity. Calm sits around 9 Hz, a grounding force. Curiosity is a bit higher, around 12 Hz, an opening force. When you layer them, you create a signature that resonates with discovery channels. This is the frequency of learning opportunities, intellectual expansion, and breakthroughs. It tunes you into realities where answers come easily and mysteries unravel. The key to this advanced technique is ensuring the frequencies you are layering are compatible. This is physics. Their oscillation patterns must create constructive interference, waves that amplify each other, making the peaks higher and the valleys deeper. You do not want to mix frequencies that create destructive interference, like trying to layer anxiety with forced gratitude. That creates static. You must become a scientist of your own soul. Experiment with different frequency combinations. Observe carefully which pairings produce coherent, complex patterns that feel harmonious and powerful in your body, and which ones create a dissonance that feels unstable. You will feel the difference. A harmonious layer feels like a chord being struck perfectly on a piano, rich, resonant, and complete. This leads us to advanced technique 2, frequency amplification. Once you have identified, through direct trial and error, which specific frequencies consistently tune you to beneficial reality channels, you can consciously amplify those broadcasts. We are not talking about forced emotion. We are not talking about fake smiles or manic positivity. We are talking about signal strength. You amplify a broadcast through sustained attention and physiological anchoring. If you find that the frequency of calm consistently tunes you to favorable scenarios in your high-pressure work environment, you double down on it. You amplify the calm broadcast through deliberate, rhythmic breathing. You adopt an intentional body posture that signals safety to your nervous system. You use environmental cues, a specific playlist, a scent, a visual anchor that reinforce and stabilize that calm oscillation pattern. You are essentially turning up the volume knob on your transmitter. You are making your signal the loudest, clearest thing in the quantum field surrounding you. This ensures that the probability waves matching your signal are the ones that get the most energy, making their collapse into reality almost inevitable. But what about the heavy stuff? What about the dark, intense energies that seem to linger? This brings us to advanced technique 3, frequency redirection. There will be times when destructive frequencies arise habitually in your system. Chronic anxiety, persistent resentment, recurring despair. The novice tries to suppress them. The master redirects them. This is critical to understand. Energy cannot be destroyed, only transformed. Frequency energy does not disappear when you suppress it. It gets displaced into somatic tension, shadow expressions, or unconscious behavioral patterns. It rots from the inside. Redirection involves a kind of energetic judo. You recognize the frequency's inherent energy, its amplitude and its intensity, and you consciously channel that same raw power into a compatible frequency with a different oscillation pattern. Think of anger. It is a high-energy state. It has high amplitude. It is hot and fast. Trying to squash anger into peace often fails because the energy gap is too wide. Peace is low amplitude. Anger is high amplitude. Instead, take that massive surge of angry energy and redirect it into determination. Determination carries a similar intensity. It is also high energy, but its oscillation pattern is constructive rather than destructive. You are not denying the fire. You are using it to forge steel instead of burning down the house. Consider anxiety. Anxiety is high activation energy. It is a state of heightened arousal. Instead of trying to force yourself into a sleepy state of calm, redirect that buzz into focused alertness. Maintain the heightened arousal, keep the sharp focus and the quick reflexes, but shift the oscillation from chaotic fear to coherent presence. You are taking the jitters and turning them into readiness. This is not repression. You are honoring the frequency's inherent energetic charge. You are simply guiding its wave pattern to a channel that resonates with more beneficial probability outcomes. You are taking the raw electricity and deciding whether it will shock you or power your light. Let me give you a specific, visceral example of how this works in the heat of battle. Imagine you're about to enter an incredibly high-stakes scenario. Perhaps it is a job interview for your dream role, a difficult conversation with a partner, or a public speech. Your system, detecting the stakes, begins broadcasting the anxiety frequency. You feel it immediately. That familiar, rapid, shallow oscillation rattling in your chest and solar plexus. The biological alarm bells are ringing. The traditional unconscious approach would be to fight it. You would try to suppress the feeling, telling yourself to calm down while your heart races. You might try to force yourself to act confident, putting on a mask while you crumble inside. Or you might simply surrender to it, letting the anxiety dictate your behavior, making you speak hesitantly, avoid eye contact, and diminish your presence. The frequency-conscious approach is entirely different. It is a masterful maneuver. You recognize the anxiety frequency the moment it arises. You do not suppress it. You do not amplify it with catastrophic thoughts of failure. You pause. You allow it to broadcast for its natural cycle. You feel the wave peak. Then you extract the data. My system is tuned to the threat channel right now. This frequency is amplifying threat-aligned probabilities in my immediate field. If I walk into that room broadcasting this, I am tuning the room to reject me. Then comes the choice. Do I want to continue this transmission? No. You choose to retune. But you do not fight the energy that is already mobilized in your system. You realize that your racing heart and sharpened focus are resources. They are fuel. You redirect that same energetic charge into focused presence. You keep the intensity high. You keep the amplitude strong, but you shift the pattern. You deepen your breath slightly to smooth out the jagged edges of the wave. You open your posture to signal receptivity. You sharpen your attention on the present moment, the texture of the table, the color of the walls, rather than fragmenting into imagined future threats. You have redirected the frequency while maintaining its power. This is the difference between someone who walks into a room broadcasting incoherent anxiety, tuning them to probabilities where they stumble and fail, and someone who walks in broadcasting coherent, focused presence. The second person tunes to probabilities where they speak clearly, remember every key point, and naturally elicit positive responses. It is the same initial energy. It is a different frequency pattern, and the result is a completely different reality channel. Now, we must go deeper into the architecture of your life. We must look at the patterns that persist when you aren't paying attention. We need to talk about standing waves. Most people never consider that their habitual emotional states create permanent structures in their energetic field. Your habitual frequency patterns, the states you return to repeatedly, day after day, create what I call standing waves in your probability field. These are not fleeting signals. These are stable, persistent resonance patterns that do not collapse after 90 seconds. They remain active in your field continuously, constantly tuning you to specific reality channels, even when you are sleeping, even when you are distracted, even when you think you are fine. If you habitually return to the anxiety frequency multiple times throughout each day, even if each individual burst only lasts a minute, you are building a structure. You are creating a standing anxiety wave. This wave maintains a constant resonance with threat channel probabilities. It means that threat-matching scenarios are continuously receiving amplification in your probability field, making them statistically more likely to manifest, regardless of what you are consciously thinking in any given moment. It is like a background hum that never goes away. If you habitually return to resentment, you are creating a standing resentment wave that maintains a constant lock on betrayal, disappointment, and conflict. You are literally building a magnet for grievance. If you habitually return to unworthiness, you are creating a standing wave that resonates with rejection and scarcity. These standing waves explain the great mystery of recurring patterns. They explain why some people seem to experience the same types of toxic relationships, the same financial struggles, or the same workplace dramas over and over again, regardless of how much they change their external circumstances, getting a new job, moving to a new city, finding a new partner. The standing wave pattern in their field continues broadcasting the same channel selection signal. The scenery changes, but the movie remains the same. The transformative practice here is identifying your habitual frequency patterns and consciously working to shift them at the standing wave level. This is not a quick fix. This is architectural renovation. We are speaking of the architecture of your soul. We are talking about how to renovate the invisible structures that have dictated the shape of your life for years. Shifting a standing wave, that persistent background hum of anxiety, scarcity, or resentment, is not an overnight job. It is not a quick fix. It requires sustained, vigilant attention over weeks and months. It demands that you become the guardian of your own frequency. You must begin to track yourself. Watch which frequencies you return to habitually throughout your day. Identify the triggers, the specific emails, the tone of voice from a partner, the quiet moments before sleep that consistently retune you to those old, familiar stations. The work is to catch the slide before it becomes a landslide. You must practice consciously retuning before the frequency locks in and reinforces the standing wave. This is fundamentally different from the exhausted effort of trying to be positive all the time. It is not about painting a smile over a scream. It is about recognizing when you are beginning to slip into a habitual frequency pattern, a rut in the road, and making a conscious, sovereign choice to complete the cycle and retune, rather than allowing it to become your default broadcast state. Over time, this changes the physics of your field. As you disrupt the old patterns and introduce new, coherent signals, your standing wave patterns shift. And because your standing waves determine the baseline probability channels your field resonates with, the types of scenarios that consistently manifest in your life begin to transform. The script of your life changes because the signal directing the actors has changed. But there is another layer to this. Once you start working with standing waves inside yourself, you unlock a new form of perception. You begin to recognize the standing wave patterns of the world around you. You start to see the invisible architecture of spaces. When you walk into a room, a corporate office, a family home, a crowded bar, you are not just detecting the momentary emotional frequencies of the people standing there. You are detecting the standing wave patterns that have built up in that space over time. You are feeling the memory of the room. Picture a workplace where, for 10 years, people have habitually broadcast stress, competition, and fear. That energy does not just vanish when the lights go out. It creates a standing wave pattern in the space itself that resonates with conflict, scarcity, and threat channels. You feel this the moment you cross the threshold. It hits you like a wall of stale air. It is not just the current mood of the team, it is the accumulated frequency pattern that has been baked into the drywall. Contrast this with a home where people have habitually broadcast love, safety, and creativity. That space has a standing wave pattern that resonates with connection, peace, and opportunity. You feel it immediately. Your shoulders drop, your breath deepens. The space itself carries a frequency signature independent of who is currently present. When you understand standing waves, the mystery of vibes disappears. You realize why some spaces consistently produce certain types of experiences regardless of who occupies them. The standing wave pattern in the space itself is tuning the probability channels for everyone inside it. This is empowering because it means you can work with this consciously. You can become an energetic architect. If you occupy a space regularly, your bedroom, your office, your creative studio, you can intentionally build standing wave patterns through consistent, coherent broadcasting. If you consistently broadcast a coherent, calm frequency in your home for weeks and months, you're building a standing structure of peace. You are magnetizing the air. That standing wave begins to affect everyone who enters, including yourself. When you return home after a chaotic day, the space itself starts tuning you back to the calm channel. The sanctuary you built holds you. This is the mechanics behind what ancient traditions called consecrating or blessing a space. It is not supernatural magic, it is frequency physics. It is the deliberate act of building beneficial standing wave patterns through sustained, coherent frequency broadcast. You are leaving a fingerprint of light on the quantum fabric of your environment. Once you fully integrate this truth, that emotions are electromagnetic broadcast frequencies and not just subjective feelings, your entire relationship with lived experience transforms at a fundamental level. You stop being a leaf blowing in the wind. You become the wind. Several radical shifts occur in how you move through reality. First, you stop judging frequencies. You drop the moral weight. You stop labeling them as inherently good or bad, sinful or virtuous. You see them for what they are, tuning dials. Fear is not bad, it is simply tuning you to the threat channel. Joy is not good, it is tuning you to the opportunity channel. They are channel selectors. They are information carriers. They are tools, not verdicts. Second, and perhaps most liberating, you stop identifying with the frequency states. You stop letting them define your identity. You realize you are not an anxious person. You are not a depressed person. You are not an angry person. Those are just the stations you have been stuck on. You are the consciousness itself. You are the operator of the biological frequency generator. The frequencies arise and shift like clouds moving across a sky, but the sky, your essential nature, remains unchanged. You witness the broadcasts without being defined, limited, or trapped by them. You are the silent observer behind the noise. Third, you develop what I call frequency flexibility. Instead of getting stuck broadcasting one frequency for days or years, creating those chronic cemented emotional states, you experience clean frequency transitions. You become fluid. You move from grief to joy to determination with natural grace. This allows your probability field to retune fluidly, granting you access to different reality channels as your broadcast shifts moment to moment. You become adaptable, responsive, and alive. Fourth, you recognize frequency contagion the moment it touches you. When you enter collective fields, you notice immediately which channel the group is collectively broadcasting on. You see the invisible tug of war, and you make conscious choices about whether to entrain to that frequency, to join the mob, or to maintain your own coherent broadcast regardless of the environmental pressure. You become immune to the energetic flu of the collective. And most dramatically, you begin seeing your broadcast frequency directly affecting physical reality in real time. This is where the magic becomes tangible. As you transmit coherent frequencies consistently, you watch scenarios that match those specific channels collapse from quantum probability into tangible lived experience with remarkable consistency. You see the synchronicities line up. You see the lucky breaks happen. You realize they are not luck. They are echoes. The ultimate realization is this: you have been doing this unconsciously your entire life. Your emotional frequencies have always been tuning reality channels. You have always been selecting which probabilities actualize around you. The only difference now is that the lights are on. You are conscious of the mechanism. You understand how it operates at the quantum mechanical level, and you can work with it deliberately, intentionally, rather than being carried along by the currents of your past conditioning. Your emotions are not feelings requiring therapy or medication to stifle. They are the most sophisticated frequency tuning mechanism available to biological consciousness. They are showing you, right now, which reality channel you are broadcasting on and which specific scenarios are preparing to enter your physical experience. But there is a secret within the secret, a hidden key that most people miss even after they understand the intellectual concepts. There is a profound feedback loop between your conscious awareness and the coherence of your signal. The more conscious you become of your frequencies as they arise, the more naturally coherent they become. Consciousness itself acts as a coherence-generating mechanism. When you are unconscious of your emotional frequencies, when you treat them as random hassles that happen to you, they tend to be incoherent. They are messy, contaminated with static, amplified by drama and suppressed by fear. They are noise. But the moment you bring pure, conscious awareness to a frequency, simply witnessing it without judgment, without trying to fix it, that act of observation acts like a laser. It organizes the frequency. This is similar to the observer effect in quantum mechanics. The act of observation affects what is being observed. When you observe your emotional frequency with clear, present awareness, that observation influences the frequency pattern itself. It naturally organizes it toward greater coherence without you having to do anything else. You do not have to muscle it into place. You just have to watch it with total presence. This means the fundamental practice is not some complicated, esoteric technique. It is simple, sustained, conscious awareness. The more consistently you bring awareness to your frequencies, the more powerful their reality tuning effects become. There is also a critical high-leverage moment you must learn to spot. I call it the transition point. This is the precise window when one frequency is shifting into another. When the anxiety frequency is naturally completing its 90-second cycle and beginning to fade, there is a brief gap, a silence, a void, usually just a few seconds long, where the next frequency has not fully locked in yet. Your system is in free fall between channels. This is your moment of maximum power. This is the command line of your reality. If you are asleep at the wheel during this transition, your system will default to its programming. It will shift to whatever frequency you most commonly broadcast. If anxiety usually leads to depression in your system, that is where you will go. If anger usually leads to guilt, that is the path you will take. But if you are awake, if you are conscious during that gap, you can seize the wheel. As the anxiety completes its cycle, you feel the transition beginning. In that brief window before the next frequency locks in, you can consciously choose. I choose calm. I choose curiosity. I choose determination. You can insert the frequency that aligns with the reality channel you want to access. You are not fighting against an established wave. You are steering the ship while the rudder is loose. This is why the practice of allowing frequencies to complete their natural cycle is so vital. It buys you a ticket to these high-leverage transition windows. Now, I must issue a warning, a necessary calibration for those starting this work. Sometimes when you first start becoming aware of your frequency patterns and stop suppressing them, it can feel intense. It might feel like your emotions are becoming louder, wilder, or more frequent. Do not be afraid. This is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that you are healing. It feels intense because you are finally feeling what has been there all along. When you were unconscious, you were suppressing these signals automatically. You were living in a house with a noisy generator in the basement that you had learned to ignore. Now that you have stopped suppressing, you are hearing the noise for the first time. And more than that, you are experiencing the backlog, all those suppressed frequencies that were stuffed down, creating static in your field. They are rising to the surface to be cleared. They need to complete their cycles. This is the clearing phase. It can feel overwhelming, like opening a dam. The anxiety you suppressed for 10 years might feel incredibly sharp when you finally let it broadcast for 90 seconds. But this is temporary. It is the poison leaving the wound. Once they clear, once you have allowed them to broadcast and complete naturally a few times, the intensity drops dramatically. Your system learns that it does not need to scream to get your attention. It learns that you are listening. This clearing phase usually lasts a few days or weeks, depending on how much stuff you have stored in your basement. During this time, your job is simple. Hold the line. Keep allowing. Keep broadcasting cleanly. Keep extracting the data. The storm will pass, and the clarity that follows will be unlike anything you have ever known. As you emerge from this clearing, a new phenomenon begins to dawn. You start to develop a form of sonar. You begin detecting the frequency signatures of others with uncanny precision. Just as you can identify the difference between anxiety and joy in your own chest, you begin to feel it in others, not through their words, which can lie, but through their field, which cannot. You are reading the electromagnetic truth. You walk into a meeting and you know instantly that the person smiling at the head of the table is broadcasting high-intensity anger. You can feel the spike in the air. You enter a social gathering and sense that beneath the laughter, someone is broadcasting a deep, resonant sadness. This is not mind reading. It is not projection. It is direct data acquisition. You are a biological antenna picking up the signal. This gives you a tremendous advantage. You stop reacting to the mask and start responding to the reality. You can navigate social fields with a mastery that seems like magic to the uninitiated. But with this power comes responsibility. When you can feel the hidden frequencies of others, you must be vigilant. You must choose again and again not to entrain. If someone approaches you broadcasting intense panic, your mirror neurons will want to match them. Your system will want to harmonize with their chaos. But you are the operator now. You recognize the pull and you stand firm. You maintain your coherent calm, and in doing so, you offer them a lifeline. You do not pull them out. You simply provide a stronger signal for them to tune into. You become the lighthouse in their storm. We are now ready for the final integration. We are ready to take these mechanics and arrange them into protocols, symphonies of feeling designed to tune you into specific, high-level outcomes. We have arrived at the level of mastery. You are no longer just a novice learning to find the volume knob. You are becoming a conductor. Once you are fluent in the language of frequency consciousness, you can do something truly extraordinary. You can begin to create what I call frequency protocols. Think of this like music. An individual emotion is a single note. It has a specific pitch and duration. But when you arrange specific notes in a specific sequence, with specific timing, you create a melody, you create a chord, you create a symphony that moves the soul in ways a single note never could. You can apply this same principle of orchestration to your reality tuning. A frequency protocol is an intentional sequence of emotional states designed to tune your biofield to a very specific, nuanced probability channel. You are layering and sequencing energy to align yourself with a particular outcome you are moving toward. Let's look at a concrete example. Let's say you are preparing to step into a major creative project, writing a book, designing a business, or building something entirely new. The amateur approach is to sit down and try to force yourself into a creative mood. This usually backfires. It creates pressure, which generates the resistance static we talked about earlier. Instead, you act as the alchemist. You construct a frequency protocol that naturally, progressively tunes you to the creative channel. You might begin phase 1 by simply allowing whatever frequency is currently present, perhaps the stress of the morning commute, to complete its cycle. You clear the deck. Then, you initiate phase 2, the frequency of curiosity. For 3 to 5 minutes, you consciously tune into the sensation of wonder. You ask questions without seeking answers. You let your mind float in the what if. This opens your field to possibility. It loosens the rigid structures of your thinking. Once that is established, you shift to phase 3, the frequency of calm. You bring in relaxation and spaciousness. This ensures that the ideas you just invited in have a safe place to land. It allows them to emerge from the quantum soup without force. Then, you layer in phase 4, subtle excitement. This provides the activation energy. It is the spark that moves you from passive reception into active expression. Finally, you lock in phase 5, determination. This is the coherent focus, the engine that allows for sustained creative output. Do you see the elegance of this? You are not forcing a result. You are working with natural frequencies, allowing each one to arise coherently, but you are arranging them in a sequence that tunes you progressively toward the specific probability channel where creative flow exists. Each frequency prepares the soil for the next. By the time you reach the final phase, creative expression is effortless because you are broadcasting on the exact bandwidth where those probabilities are most amplified. You can design these protocols for anything. You can build a protocol for difficult conversations that sequences through grounding, then clarity, then compassion, and finally, authentic expression. You can build a protocol for peak physical performance that moves through activation, focus, flow, and sustained power. You can even build a protocol for deep rest that sequences through release, softening, trust, and complete surrender. You are not manipulating yourself. You are orchestrating your natural capacity to feel, arranging the signals to tune into the reality you choose. Now, I want to talk about the long game. I want to tell you what happens to your system after weeks, months, and years of consistent frequency consciousness. A profound shift occurs in the baseline resonance of your entire being. Your default frequency, the state your system returns to when nothing in particular is happening, begins to rise. Look around you. Most people's default frequency hovers somewhere between low-grade anxiety and mild dissatisfaction. It is a contracted baseline. Even when they are safe, even when they are fed, they are humming with a background signal of scarcity and threat. This unconscious broadcast creates a standing wave that subtly tunes their life toward struggle. But as you practice this work, as you clear the backlog, stop the suppression, and cultivate coherence, your default setting changes. It rises toward what researchers call baseline well-being. Your resting state becomes a calm, open, mildly positive hum that resonates with opportunity and connection channels. This is not about being manic, it is about safety. Your nervous system learns, through repeated experience, that it is safe to maintain an elevated, coherent state because you are no longer attacking it with suppression or exhausting it with drama. You are no longer the enemy of your own broadcast. When your default frequency shifts to this baseline of coherence, your entire life begins to bend toward you. You are broadcasting a beneficial signal continuously, 24 hours a day, even when you are sleeping, even when you are not trying. The standing wave pattern in your field naturally resonates with favorable probability channels. Beneficial scenarios begin manifesting with increasing frequency and consistency. People describe this as the feeling that life is finally working with them rather than against them. It feels like you are always in the right place at the right time. Opportunities, connections, and resources seem to find you, rather than you having to hunt them down. This is not luck. This is not privilege. This is physics. It is the natural mechanical result of shifting your baseline broadcast frequency to a pattern that matches the reality you want. And this brings us to the most important point of all, the collective impact. When your default frequency is coherent and elevated, you stop being just a person in a room. You become a catalyst. You are continuously contributing that high-level signal to every collective field you enter. You become what the ancient traditions called a beneficial presence. Your mere existence in a space naturally shifts the collective frequency toward greater coherence. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to try to heal anyone. You don't have to preach. You simply are. You broadcast a stable, coherent signal. Because of the law of resonance, that broadcast affects the field patterns around you. This is how individual transformation becomes collective evolution. As more of us shift our default frequency to baseline coherence, the standing wave patterns of our families, our workplaces, and our communities begin to shift. Toxic workplaces become less volatile. Families become more peaceful. Communities become more connected, not through forced intervention, but through the irresistible influence of coherent resonance. The implications of this are staggering. When you truly let this land, it changes everything. Every single moment of every single day, you are broadcasting. You are never offline. That broadcast is interfacing with the quantum probability field right now, and the field is responding right now by amplifying the patterns that match your signal. This is not optional. You cannot opt out of gravity, and you cannot opt out of frequency. The only question, the only choice you truly have, is whether you are doing this consciously or unconsciously. Are you operating the tuning mechanism with intent, or are you being carried along by the habitual patterns of your past and the chaotic noise of the world? Are you choosing your channel, or are you letting the programming choose for you? When you wake up to this, you stop being a victim of your day. Every emotion becomes data, every feeling becomes a tool, every interaction becomes an opportunity to contribute coherence to the world. You are no longer a passive recipient of a reality that is happening to you. You are a conscious participant in the quantum mechanical process through which the universe knows itself. You are the architect of the collapse. Your emotional frequencies are the interface. Your consciousness is the choice point, and your coherent broadcast is the signal that tunes the world. The tuning mechanism has always been in your hands. Now finally, you know how to use it. If you're ready to expand your consciousness and step into your next quantum leap, subscribe now, leave a comment below, and share this message with someone ready to awaken.